Hello wildflowers. I know it's been a spell, but I'm so thrilled to be back with you all, sharing a little slice of life at Belladonna Cottage. I know all of you green witches and garden fairies out there will relate to my feelings of desperate impatience in the depths of winter, waiting and waiting for the time to come when I can begin co-creating again with the wild green world and the fairies on the cottage garden of my dreams. But it is also a wonderful time to make magic in other ways and create things of beauty without soil and seed, but perhaps with a paintbrush and pencil. Call it a soul mission if you will, but one of my dreams for this channel and all of the art I make is to awaken and delight the inner child, in all of you and in me. It feels sometimes like the most radical act of rebellion in this world to choose art and beauty and softness over speed, automation and productivity. It's also choosing joy and heart and imagination wherever possible, asking each day, what lights you up? I can definitely say I've been an artist all my life. As a child, if I wasn't out searching for fairies and bunyips in the Australian bush, or gazing into rock pools marvelling at brightly coloured coral and starfish, I was in my room painting and drawing. And whilst I spent some years untethered from my little self, chasing a fast-paced city life in the corporate design world, I found my way back to her eventually, and now that little girl is pretty much in charge of every decision I make. And when things get bumpy, I can't even be mad at her because I promised I'd make life fun and beautiful, and that for her, no matter what, I'd always find a way. I always begin the old-fashioned way, with my trusty sketchbook, a 2H or an HB pencil and an eraser. I know, the simplest of tools, these magical items are the way in which the vision in my mind begins to take physical form. Just like nature creates an exquisite flower from a tiny seed, what was once pure energy, living only in my imagination, materializes into being. The legendary Bob Ross said, "Talent is a pursued interest. Anything you are willing to practice, you can do." And so, my advice to those who may be thinking, "Oh, I could never draw like that," is to remember that you have infinite potential to birth anything you can dream of into this world. Whatever you can hold in your mind, you can one day hold in your hands. All it takes is time and practice, and a willingness to let go and let flow. I wouldn't dream of beginning a project without first decorating my art space with flowers and herbs and crystals. My favourites are citrine and amethyst, known to enhance psychic abilities and imagination and stimulate a golden river of creative energy flowing from the crown and sacral chakras. One of the activities I plan to share in my upcoming book, Wild Fairy Magic, is to study and play with the incredible colour palettes you can find in the wild green world. After all, Mama Earth is one of my very favourite artists. Her colour combinations are truly wild. So, would you like to try this little activity with me, wildflowers? I feel it's a nice way to get the creative juices flowing and immerse yourself in a whimsical task that sparks joy and encourages play. It's designed to be simple and relaxing, just a meandering, soft approach to mixing and applying colours and losing yourself in the beauty of nature. Search your garden or nearby natural places for flowers, leaves, shells or stones that intrigue you, and study them with a sense of childlike wonder. How many different colours can you count in a single petal? How would you describe the shapes and textures? Where does the light shine or the shadow fall? This activity also helps become familiar with the way colours mix and the way the paint moves and flows from the brush to the paper, becoming more or less opaque as you add water and creating new and unexpected colours as it layers and blends. My favourite medium is gouache. Well, it's more like a love affair if I'm honest. I just love its variation of opacity and depth of colour. It is a type of paint made from pigments bound in water-soluble gum. This medium became popular in 18th century France, but its roots can be traced back to ancient Greece and Egypt, which I rather fancy makes it a magical medium. You might find, if you can reach a certain stillness in your mind, that something takes over and the paintbrush seems to move as if it were enchanted. It was once believed that all of the objects in a witch or wizard's house had a spirit, a consciousness all of their own, hence the folk tales of dancing brooms or talking candlesticks. And my inner child certainly enjoys fantasizing about that possibility as I paint.
Tell me you're the one for me now. I pray that you believe it too. That you're the only one for me, and I'm the only one for you. If I wrote you a song, if I got every word perfectly weighted on a thin piece of paper.
Do you remember just how many colours there were in a single petal, and how, when the light catches a leaf, colours are reflected there that you didn't notice at first? That's why I love to add splashes of the unexpected. Bright streaks of fairy floss pink on a eucalyptus leaf, or bright lime green on a black cockatoo feather. I suppose it's just my inner child calling the shots again, saying, well, obviously this painting needs more rainbow magic. And she's right. After all, painting should be a joy. When I go walking in the bush in the afternoons, I always take a moment to watch the tangerine light shimmer through the trees, catching the wings of insects and painting the leaves with splashes of orange. In yoga, when you relax your gaze enough to focus not on seeing a specific object, but rather beyond it, I feel it is the beginnings of seeing through matter itself and into a realm of light. In Sanskrit, this is called drishti, and here rainbows dance at the edges of your vision and you see the world as a kaleidoscope of colour. Once you start looking at the world through the eyes of an artist, you won't see anything but light and colour, and of course, love. And that's why I am painting this blue Tonkinese named Kipling in his favourite lookout, the frangipani tree. It is a gift of love from a mother to her twin daughters in memory of their beloved familiar. And although Kipling is now waiting patiently for them at the Rainbow Bridge, he did cross back over for a moment just to play hide and seek with this little art witch. For every time I went to reference his photos, I would find them scattered through my camera roll, disappearing and reappearing again with no explanation, other than, of course, he was just doing what cats do and letting me know in his own playful way that he was there with me and seemed to approve of the painting. I'm told it was one of his favourite games.
Just hold me close, wrap me up, kiss my eyes and my nose, and we'll fade away to a distant
With Kipling wrapped in tissue paper and making his way home for the girl's birthday, it's time for a lunch break. The winter sun is shining and I'm making rainbows again, this time in a plant-based salad bowl with some freshly made cold-pressed juice. And it's no coincidence that this carrot, orange and ginger elixir is the colour of Svadhisthana, the creativity chakra. I did promise you an episode of Art Magic, and if you pay attention, there's a little spell in almost everything a Fae Witch does. To be in the garden, daydreaming away among the early spring blooms, soaking in the sunshine and feeling the breeze on my skin is my favourite way to recharge before getting back to work again. It feels I'm part of the great dance of life out here, that harmonious act of never-ending creation as flowers bloom and wither, basking in the simplest of pleasures, a healthy meal, the sound of birds singing. I cannot help but reflect on the abundance and beauty all around me. The pagan Sabbath of Imbolc is just around the corner, and I'm thinking back on the very beginnings of this channel and the birth of wild fairy magic, this time last year. The very first page I decided to paint for the book featured Snowdrop and Narcissus, so to see their delicate bobbing heads greeting me in the garden each day reminds me to keep going on my passion project, no matter how long it takes. My inspiration for the Rambling Rose was simply to share art, love and magic, and that's exactly what it has brought me, and I hope it has brought for you too. I know so many of you have been asking for an arty episode, and though I found it hard to think of a way to explain or teach something so intuitive in such a short film, at the very least I wanted to encourage a playful curiosity and share the idea that we're all creative, for we are all children at heart. We just need a little more time to play with flowers and crayons and paints and fairies. If you'd like to support my channel, there are lots of ways you can do so. You can like and subscribe or hit the cute little heart icon. You can join me over on Patreon, or if you're in the mood for a little shopping, you can purchase my art, oracle cards and spirit paintings. Until next time, wishing you a magical Imbolc full of inspiration and joy. May you share your bliss, your soul's unique gifts, and your beautiful colours with this world.